Okay, so a little inside baseball here. Breaking news: the WB sale has happened. We're just we're tacking this on to the beginning of the show. We had already recorded a full episode, but this broke after, and we hadn't finalized the episode, so we're coming in to do this. Hence the costume changes that you may notice. Okay, so Warner Brothers has officially gone into sort of final talks, I guess, for Netflix to buy them for a confirmed $82.7 billion, which is insane. That is a total equity value of $72 billion, and the rest of that $82.7 billion is made up of what I assume is Netflix acquiring the debt that WB currently has. So in total, $82.7 billion. It looked like Paramount was going to be the person or the entity that was going to originally buy WB, as the Trump administration kind of put their thumb on the scale, like pretty hard about that. But Netflix came in with just like a bunch of cash in their offer. And it was just, I think they hit near WB's. I think they were shooting for like a $30 a share, or I guess they exceeded it, a $30 a share number. And once they hit that, WB was like, it's fine. We don't give a fuck who we're selling it to. Just give me my money. What are your thoughts on this?
One, this is gross, right? Like these big corporations are. I gotta be consistent, yo. Like these big ass corporations just kind of gobbling each other up. It's just kind of gross. But WB wanted to. They were presenting, right? Like they wanted to be sold. Of the heavy hitters to that expressed interest. Netflix is, I guess, the lesser of two evils, I guess. Netflix, if you can't earn any awards, buy HBO and then get them that way.
Yeah.
Your Netflix subscription is about to skyrocket.
I got to assume that they're going to keep a Netflix subscription and a HBO WB subscription as like two different avenues, like not one big bundle. Right?
But if I'm Netflix, I kind of want people to come to me for Task and for Game of Thrones and for all that. Like, I'm very curious to see how this is all going to play out, right? Because I would prefer if they keep the two entities separate, right? Mm-hmm. I would prefer that, I don't mind having two apps, two different platforms where I can go here and get all my HBO Prestige stuff, and I can go over here and get samurais cutting each other's heads off and, whatever. Right. But I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised if down the line we get things consolidated.
The mega app.
The mega app. Just a big N just in the middle of your phone.
Your phone made by Netflix too, by the way. They'll just buy AT&T or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Why not? We're just doing corporate acquisitions. Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like that actually is, I don't think anybody really knows for sure, because there are two logical lines of thought, right? Which is you keep them separate because if people are like, fuck Netflix, I don't like that app. Well, hey, you're getting them coming either way, right? And, a lot of people have both. So, you're winning both ways. You still get the same amount sort of cumulative money. Then you can also like raise the prices slightly or lower them slightly, and people feel like they're getting a deal. You're like, it's all the same bucket to us. Like, we don't give a shit, right? That actually would be clever to lower the price of Netflix and just like slightly raise the HBO price or something. And people are like, oh, Netflix is going down. Like, right, yeah, it's all going down.
You do that if you want to destroy it, right? You do that that'll kill the other brand. And I think
kill a Netflix brand as it is.
Look, if you want to look, the merger between Warner Brothers and Discovery hurt Warner Brothers. Like it did, right? So I'm hoping that the merger between Netflix and Warner Brothers and Discovery doesn't necessarily hurt. Look, I don't want HBO to hurt. Okay, I
Y'all
could give
just sell that off. Can we just have an independent? Someone come and buy HBO and just let them go, please.
Right. I don't give a fuck about anything that ever came on Discovery. I find it, as a movie, fan, I find it kind of sad that Warner Brothers is in the dire state that it's in. But ultimately, I don't really give a shit. And then Netflix,
Who cares?
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
If Netflix were to win tomorrow, I wouldn't give a shit. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, because there's nothing really like, and I know we just talked about The Beast in Me being like amazing, right?
Yeah.
But that's what Netflix does. Every once in a while, you get something amazing, but you gotta sift through a lot of garbage to do it. Oh God! And if they do a mega app, Netflix is already garbage.
Yeah,
right? Netflix is too much, man. So I'm very curious to see what the implications of all this is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so there's a possibility that they just keep both, and then, or at least my guess is initially they keep both, right? Because it's a lot of work to, like, if we're going to do some one mega app type of thing, or like all this rebranding, you don't have to do that. You can just be like, just change the bank account so that all of the subscriptions go to the Netflix bucket versus, out to Warner Brothers as it is right now. And then for customers, it doesn't feel like a change, which is like the best way to handle anything, is that the customers really don't know unless you follow the news like we do. But also, I'm wondering if they take an opportunity to spin Discovery off and just be like, that's a different thing, right? Like, you may have access to it with like this one, like a one payment, but I wonder if they start to just pull that shit apart and leave HBO kind of as it is. Because, I mean, the talk in an article we talk about later in this episode is how, the idea for HBO is to let HBO be HBO. And I got to imagine that there is at least some thought process of, like you said, HBO, like Warner Brothers got harmed in that like Discovery merger, but HBO also got harmed in that, right? By changing it to Max and then changing it back, you know what I mean? So I'm wondering if they may want to go like, let's just pull that out and leave that as its own thing. I don't know. But also Netflix is a brand, and they're going to want to have that Game of Thrones brought to you by Netflix type of thing. Like
they want that IP, man. They want that IP. That's why they're spending nearly $100 billion for it. Right. Like, and you better believe that like House of the Dragon, all that stuff is going to be like, they want that tone.
Yeah, you're right.
Before you hit play, when you hit play, they want that, not the HBO white noise. Nah, bro, it's going to be the shit right before you hear the Game of Thrones music play. And
that's that's interesting. Like, are those like, I'm curious about, like, there's a number of things that I think are worth like really considering, right? Like that branding, right? Like the Tudum thing is big. Like that is a big thing. I agree. I don't see them keeping that in-house only, right? But also the HBO name is big, right? And like Netflix is a big name, HBO is a big name. But when I think, and I think this is largely true for everybody, when I think Netflix, it's like, it's a catch-all. When I think HBO, there is a certain level of quality. So you're like, you may want that Tudum banner running up front, but you can't take away the HBO part of that. Like, it'll be interesting just from a branding perspective how they pull this off. And I'm sure that has been a large conversation inside Netflix. The other aspect is, and we're going to be selfish about this because these are things we care about directly. What happens to like DC and stuff like that? Does that all just run as it is, right? Because that was my, like, of the nerd concerns about these mergers, outside of it just being gross and disgusting. Like, from a nerd perspective, this is why I did not want Paramount to hold it, because Gunn is an unabashed liberal, and the Ellisons are hardcore right-wing fucking psychos. And I did not want Paramount to own it because I'm I guarantee you they would either try to fucking rein him in about like what he talks about in those movies or get rid of him completely. And just be like, all right, I don't know. People like Zack Snyder. He was cool, right? Like, so I could totally see a nightmare scenario where Paramount would have fucked DC up. Netflix feels much more neutral and just like, what makes money? And so they're just kind of like, is this popular? Then it's popular, right? So it'll be interesting to see what they do, if they do anything with those brands, and or if they just let him like just run with it. Because I'm sure Netflix would love to have the Marvel equivalent that DC has, right? Like, or excuse me, that Disney has. I'm sure of it. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
Yeah, man. Apparently Netflix made a statement that it quote expects to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations and build on its strengths. Because that's another thing, man. Like when these big mergers happen between companies that have similar roles, you get downsizing, which means people lose their jobs. Rank and file people lose their jobs.
Yeah.
And
the top brass does not. That almost never.
Right. Like we talk about this on Death Pixels all the time, man, because, video games are just as much of a disgusting, like, commodity that as movies and all that other stuff, man. Like people will lose their jobs, and that's gonna suck. Look, Elizabeth Warren, when I started paying attention to politics, Elizabeth Warren was the only one, was the politician that I kind of really like inspired me, right? Like, wow, like I actually really like what she's saying, and I'm going to pay attention to the things that she says because like she and I think alike in terms of these big corporations.
Right.
And she has weighed in, and she has described it as the deal looks like an anti-monopoly nightmare. The Netflix Warner Brothers would create one massive media giant with control of close to half of the streaming market, threatening to force Americans into higher subscription prices and fewer choices over what and how they watch, while putting American workers at risk. Yeah, man. Like, let's not like, it's fun to be like, hey, when's Batman coming? Right? Like,
right.
Batman. But like, there are other factors at play. And like, maybe that's just me being an old man.
I don't think so. I mean, the less amount of people who own this shit, the more consolidated the styles become. The less
it stifles creativity. It stifles innovation.
Yep.
And all that stuff, man. Like you can't. Yeah, like that's why everything looks and sounds like when you're watching something on Netflix, right? Because everything just kind of feels. It just feels the same. Even wrestling, which is on Netflix, is awful. It's awful. It feels like a product. Yeah. And I don't want art to necessarily feel. I know art is a product, but I don't want it to feel like a product.
Right, lie to me. I mean? Lie to me.
Right, lie to me, Jerry. Lie to me.
Well, and it's I remember what's his name? Patrick H. Willems, right? He's a video essayist that does movies. If you don't watch him, you should. He's very smart. I like him a lot. He's funny. And he's a big old nerd. And he was talking about how, if you look at movies of the 60s and 70s, how they were so artist driven, right? Like they were so director driven and everything else. And then the 80s, like in the Reagan era, they tried to like, with mergers and acquisitions, they smashed everything down to having this certain fucking vision that from politics down came out, right? It was like the shining city on the hill. Everything has to be like family friendly and everything else, because the 70s was gritty as fuck. Like it was super gritty, right? I mean, you think about the movies from that era, they were super gritty. But then the 80s, they tried to sanitize everything. And then you look at that shit and you're like, this all feels the same. Where the 70s, it didn't feel the same, right? It was gritty, but they all had different, like everyone had different visions of what the times were, and good or bad, right? And then they started consolidating and smashing shit down. And that is happening again, right? Like in the era of streaming, things expanded. And so it felt like, oh, it's like all of this is different. You got your HBOs, you got your Netflix, you got all this stuff that was kind of fun and interesting. And now it's all smashing down for you to pay $200 a month for one fucking cable bill. Like, it's all just coming back around. So yeah, I don't disagree with Warren, and I don't disagree with your sentiment on it. I think it's absolutely correct. And it is something people should be leery about. I would love if Warner Brothers, their library, was its own thing, and HBO was its own thing, and Discovery was its own thing, and Netflix was its own thing. I want them as far apart. Oh, is it different bills or whatever? Whatever. Look, automatic payments are fine. Like, it doesn't bother me, and I'll pick the shit that I want. But I don't want all of these guys together. Yeah, is it fun sometimes, like, to have the X-Men with the Avengers? Sure. How about you just sell Marvel back all their characters? I don't need all of the Fox shit to be smashed all into the Disney shit. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have to happen that way. It did, and it's unfortunate, but we should also be leery of it. Like, yeah, sometimes this can be really cool, and sometimes you can get a bunch of garbage, and the prices just keep going up and up because you're stuck, and that's not good for anybody.
Listen, there's one more thing that I want to bring up about this thing. And I know apparently I'm the only person that goes to a movie theater to watch movies. Okay.
You're the last one.
But if there are any other moviegoers out there, I mean,
this is not good.
This is not good, yo. Like, Netflix will allow movies to come out in theaters, right? Like that new Knives Out movie has been in theaters for about a week, and then it's hitting Netflix. Yeah. Look, I still enjoy the theater going experience. People complain about, it's too expensive for popcorn and all that. Who the fuck buys food at a theater?
People do. You can't be mad at them. People do.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad, but like,
my shit from home.
Yeah, just take shit. Just take the shit in the theater. But get ready, because you're gonna, and look, consumers will probably love it, right? That guy right there will probably love it. You're gonna get these first run movies, and they're not gonna be in theaters long, man. And
this is a great point. Go ahead, keep going.
So for people who run movie theaters, real big movie fans, if you got a favorite movie house, you're not going to get you're not going to get the big heavy hitting movies, and you need the big heavy hitting movies to keep you afloat, right? The movies in the summer pay for the movies in the winter, and you're not going to get that, man. And I just think it's sad. I think we're, we've always talked about like the death of the theater going experience. I mean, this is a serious blow in my opinion, man. But like, I don't know shit. I'm just speculating. But
yeah, no, I think that's okay. I mean, I think the 45-day window of movies coming out from the time they hit the theater to home viewing is a disaster. I think it is fundamentally a fucking disaster. It needs to go to at least 90 days. Because at a certain point you're like, I can wait 45 days, right? Like, I can wait 45 days. That ain't no big deal. That is a little over a month. And if the movie's bad, that shit is like in 3 weeks. Okay, like quite literally, movies that are bombed hit streaming or on the internet in like 2 to 3 weeks. It's crazy. You're like, I thought this was still in theaters. It might be. Like, it's just nuts, right? So 45 days has been an utter disaster for theaters. If this goes through, and by the way, this has not fully gone through, but it's likely, right? If this happens, I'm going to need the theater owners, that association, you guys need to renegotiate this theater time shit. You do. You need it to at least be 60 days, but I would push for 90. I would. Or at least I'd be like, listen, for your big budget shit, your big blockbusters, it's got to be 90 days. It's got to be 90 days. Now, Netflix is going to be in a situation that it's never been in, which is, they put out things like, Knives Out, that goes in theaters for a little bit, and then it hits streaming. But that ain't the same as a Batman movie. That ain't the same as a Superman movie. You can't put them in theaters for a week and then pull them home. That's a lot of money getting taken out. You're losing. Like, that's a lot.
That's a lot of money that you're losing. That's a lot of money that you're losing for the theaters. Netflix's competition isn't the movie theater. It's fucking YouTube.
Yeah,
and
that's quite true.
And they want to make sure that you are doing nothing but watching Netflix. It's fucking regular TV. It's video games. They don't give a fuck. That's why they paying $100 million to buy a movie studio, because they want to kill that fucking. They want to kill another piece of opposition. And it's,
by the way, billion. You said 100
billion.
I wish it was 100
yeah, billion. Right. Like that's how much they don't want. That's how much the actual movie theater studios and that's how much of a threat they are to Netflix. That's how much Netflix sees them as a threat. They don't want you going outside. They want you staying at home, Netflix and chilling. They don't give a fuck if you fucking while a Netflix show is on.
Is it on?
Like, is it on? You still watching? Great.
Don't even answer. We'll just keep the screen on. We don't give a fuck.
Right. We've been, when me and my wife watch something on Netflix, like when we watch The Beast and Me, and we're like, all right, we're just going to watch one episode. And then when the episode goes off and the credits are running, we know we want to go to sleep or something. We got to hurry up and find the remote because we don't want the next episode to start, because the shit starts in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. They're like, no,
right?
Don't get up.
No, just keep watching. Right.
Let your life drift away.
Exactly.
We don't give a fuck.
So yeah, man, it's gonna be wild, man. Look, I'm reading something on here from CNBC. One of the key points is that Netflix, which has traditionally limited theatrical releases and how long they play in theaters, said it will honor existing WB cinematic contracts that run through 2029. So don't expect too much change until 2030.
And then
but then, like,
Aquaman brought to you by Netflix, dropping on fucking Friday. What's
up? Right. Yeah, shit, man. You got about 4 years. Movie theaters got about 4 years left.
Y'all better look. You saw that video of the orb type of shit, where it's like they were watching The Matrix and the guns are going all right. Y'all better put that shit in. Something to get motherfuckers there. You know? Y'all got 4 years to figure it out. Figure out a new popcorn formula that you can cut the price in half. Something, man. Something. But I mean, quite honestly, the biggest barrier of entry for theaters is going to be how long those movies are actually there. Because if it stays at that 45 days, you're fucked. Like, you got to figure something out. You got to get it. You got to get those movies there longer. You got to get the price of concessions. Yes, I know. Mike and his wife go to Potbelly Sandwiches and just fucking buy all that shit and sneak it in. God bless you.
Stuffing out our coats, man.
Yeah. like this is the most ridiculous shit ever, but also makes sense. You got to get the concession prices and the ticket prices down. You have to. Like, you have been running in an amazing level of bullshit for many years, making ticket prices $20, $30 a person. You got to bring the price down, because they are about to eat your fucking lunch if you don't. Because $30 a person versus ta-dum, you lose. You lose every time, dude. I'm just saying, I want to watch Knives Out. It came out, like November 26th or something? I want to watch it.
It came out November 26th. It's coming out 16 days later.
Right. Guess what? My wife and I go watch this shit on a Friday night, and we love Knives Out. It's great, but it's not enough. That's not enough of a reason for me to go to the theater. It's just not. So there are movies that I want to see on a big screen, and I've got a large screen at home, but there are certain movies I want to see on the big screen. Predator: Badlands, I wanted to see on the big screen. Fucking Superman, I want to see. Batman, I want to see those movies. But there's a lot of people who don't give a fuck about that. They just don't simply care. And when that 2030 hits, yeah, that's going to be a fucking problem. So they give it. Sometimes it's bad to know when your demise is coming, but sometimes at least you're given an opportunity to know what date it is. And so this is like a big fish moment. You are going to die in 4 years. What are you going to do in the 4 years prepping for this? Because you got to figure something out. You got to figure out something, man. Invest in crypto or something. I don't know. You need to move your money, because you're in a world of trouble, man. in a world of trouble. And by the way, if if Netflix is successful in pulling people away and competing directly with YouTube, and they absolutely will be, if they can pull people away to their apps in a significant way, all that does is because I know what the thought process is, well, all the other movie theaters or all the other movie companies, they'll dominate the theaters. No, they won't. All of those companies are going to be like, double down on streaming. That's what they'll learn. Right. They're not going to learn to, Sony isn't going to suddenly make big time budget movies for theater. They're not going to give a fuck. They're not going to give a fuck. And all the actors who say, hey, we love the theater experience and they're going to promote that, that's all fine and good. You know where those people will go? That'll be all the independent shit. But the big boy shit, all of that will end up on streaming.
The mass, the stuff that appeals to the masses, which is the stuff that you need to sustain yourself, that's not going to be in theaters, man. And it's just going to, and the sad thing is that it's going to be a slow, painful death to watch the theater going experience. It's going to be slow. It's going to be arduous. It's going to be painful for those people and for people like me who like that stuff. And look, I'm being romantic about it. I don't go to the theater to see every movie, right? I'm a massive hypocrite, right? I don't go to every theater to see every movie, but if I do want to watch a little mid-budget movie, or me and my wife go on a movie date or something. Yeah, man, we used to like doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And, I don't know.
This is not good. This is not good. It's not. All right. So that is the end of our conversation on Netflix buying Warner Brothers and ruining the movie industry in and of itself and the theater experience dying. Now, on with the rest of the show. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerdpocalypse Podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here. Yeah, I totally fucked that up. I was going to say TNP. That's why. I know what show I'm on. All right, welcome to the show. We were off for the Thanksgiving holiday. I am here with my co-host, Micah. How are you?
Hey.
Did you eat enough turkey? Did you get enough?
I'm up to 225, so I gotta get back down.
Oh, wow! Holy shit! Oh man. We normally do. You've been to my house for Thanksgiving, so like we cook well. We never did a brine on a turkey before. Like it's just not how we normally make it. And so we got turkey breast because we just had a limited amount of people over, and we decided to brine that. And we mistakenly followed someone's recipe, and they were like, "Yeah, don't worry about washing the brine off," because they were doing it for a whole turkey, but we were just doing it for turkey breast. It was inedible.
Yeah, what?
It was way too salty. Holy shit. My wife and I were like, we're never listening to other people again. This is a terrible idea. Because we don't have an oven, right? We have like a desktop type oven. People don't have ovens here. It's too fucking hot. Nobody's doing a bunch of roast and shit. No, stoves, man. That's it. So we have a desktop oven. So yeah, you can't. Last year we did a turkey and it barely fit in the thing. We had to spatchcock the thing to just get it in the fucking oven. So we were like, we won't do that this year. We should have done that this year. It was a terrible idea. All right, so we are back. All right, plenty and checked out actually. So I watched Sovereign. This is the Nick Offerman movie, which is about the dad and the son who are sovereign citizens. This is based on a true story. Yeah, it's very, very good. Nick Offerman continues to be a chameleon in Hollywood, right? He can somehow play these complete lunatic psychos that you do not like and you hate with all passion, and then he can also play these lovable characters, right? He's pretty amazing at all of it. I don't want to say he's an underrated actor because I think a lot of people know Nick Offerman's a great actor, but I feel like he should be getting even bigger roles. He seems to be able to do it all. But the general story is about, do you know what a sovereign citizen is? Have you seen these people before?
Yes, but I don't know what this movie is about.
So it's about a dad who is a sovereign citizen. And for folks who don't know, these are the people who are they go and you'll probably see videos of them, like they'll go into court because like there's a lien against their house because they haven't paid their mortgage or something. And they're like, well, the United States is a corporation, so because of this law and this, and the flags don't have this type of fringe, and they do all these like weird sort of like nonsensical arguments. They're like, I don't have to pay my rent, or I don't have to pay mortgage,
Right.
or like the government can't control me. I don't need a driver's license and shit like that. And they're very real and they're very dangerous people because they don't believe in laws and they don't believe anything applies to them, right? And so the movie is about this dad who is a sovereign citizen, and he's a real this guy's a real person, by the way. And he goes around to parts of the Midwest or wherever he is and does like these training seminars to other sovereign citizens, like spreading out this fucking horseshit. And meanwhile, like his house is kind of in foreclosure, and he's got this teenage son who he homeschools because like school is a tool of the government, and you know, like these are very anti-government folks.
Yeah, these are libertarians taken to their extreme.
Yeah, they're far, far extremes, right? And of course, they love guns because, of course, they do. And simultaneously in the film, while that sort of father-son dynamic is going on, like there is a father-son police officers as the son is kind of going through the academy or whatever, and then those two stories kind of collide, right? Look, you can look up the movie and look up what happens. I won't ruin it for you, but it's super interesting. It's also very sad what happens to everyone involved. But it just goes to show you, like, that sort of group psychosis is a very real thing. Like, these people are crazy. Like, I mean, they're legitimately out of their minds. But I feel like if you can understand that, then you can start to understand other large cults that are going on in the U.S. right now. There's probably a lot of crossover, ironically, between those two groups. But these people are full on crazy. But it's fascinating. It's and Offerman puts on a kind of a masterclass. Like, he really does. He's quite good at it. I also watched The Long Walk. This is the Stephen King, the movie based on Stephen King novel or short story, which is the one with Mark Hamill. And the idea is that in the future, the United States is like kind of a not doing so well place. I don't know how much of a fiction this really is, as much as it's like predictive. And these young men join this thing called The Long Walk, which is this contest that whoever walks the furthest wins, and you get like a bunch of money and everything else, and you get one wish, right? And they make it happen for you. And it's supposed to be this idea that the walk is supposed to inspire people. Like, these kids have done, like, these young men have done this great thing or tried to do this great thing, so we should all inspire as a nation. But it's more like a sick, twisted kind of a fantasy type of thing where everyone thinks that a bunch of people are joining or applying for this, but a lot of people are not applying for it, and they just take the people who are applying for it. So it's very few people, actually. And there is no end. There's no finish line. And there's no end to it, right? So what they don't show in the movie, which is heavily implied, is that you walk for 24 hours, then you get to take a break at night. And then you keep walking. But that's a long fucking amount of time to walk. 24 hours continuously. And the rules are, if you slow down, they all have like these bracelets on. If you slow down to under 3 miles an hour, you get a warning. You only get 3 warnings, and then you get a final warning, and then they punch your ticket, so to speak. And like, you can't stop to go to the bathroom. You got to just do that shit on the walk. Like, you get sick, you just got to do that shit on the walk. If you go off the road, they punch your ticket immediately, right? And once you get a warning, you have to walk for an hour to remove that warning, right? So you could get like 3 warnings, and then you got to walk at pace for an hour to remove the first one, another hour for the second one, you know, so on and so forth. It's good. It's good. It is a surprisingly simple premise with an ending that I thought was like, it's okay. The ending's not that amazing to me. However,
that sounds like a Stephen King book.
Yeah,
an amazing
like
premise with I forgot how to end it. Right, which is why everyone like wet themselves when The Mist came out, because when The Mist came out, The ending was those people are in that car. That's the end.
Yeah.
And then the movie, tickets were punched.
Yeah. Not the ending, right? So this one, I found the ending to just be kind of underwhelming. But the movie is actually, and I've never read the book, so I don't, or the short story, so I don't know if it's like a 1-to-1. But for me, it is the best example of it's not about the conclusion, it's about the journey, because it quite literally is, right? So you surprisingly get connected to these characters pretty quickly throughout the story. And that's what kind of makes it cool, right? Like it's the ending, you're like, okay, and you can almost, as it gets on and on, you kind of go, I see where this is likely going, right? But the journey is far more interesting than the destination. But I think you would actually like it. Like the camaraderie that happens between the guys on the walk / the sort of like antagonizing between some of them is fascinating. Like that part is actually fascinating. So yeah, but it's Stephen King, so they don't shy away from the murder parts, right? You're like, okay, they're gonna show that shit like right up close. So that wasn't necessary. Or they give you there's a lot of like emotion, like when certain people don't make it, right? And so you're just like, fuck, I like that guy, and you're like, well, let's keep going. So yeah, it's wild. I won't give it away. It's wild how far they walk by the end. But yeah, it's I wouldn't sign up for that. Like
no.
Like, and they know, by the way, it's not like they are not aware that if you don't make it, you die. Like they know that. I'd be like, what the fuck would I sign up for this? Like, there's one winner. No, this is a terrible idea. But yeah, the long walk. It's
you got to make friends with these people. Like,
yeah, but here's the thing. You do though. You need them.
Yeah,
you need them more than you realize. Because there are times where you're like, I ain't gonna make it, and it's like, probably should have had a friend for that one. Like, because look, walking 24 hours, your brain's like, I want to go to sleep, even if your legs are still moving. So you got to figure out how the fuck you do that. Like that's yeah. It's
I don't know. Maybe I'm just too jaded, right? Like I want to believe that people would help each other out, but I don't believe that people would help each other out. I want to go to sleep, and I'm sure the movie, explain. I'm sure that is the point of the movie.
Yeah.
But I actually might watch that because I'm very curious now.
Yeah, I think you would dig it. The thing is, they show both sides of humanity, right? It's not like everyone's like walking hand in hand. Yeah. Like that's not that. Like that would be fucking ridiculous. But there are certain people who you're like, yeah, okay, and then the other guy, you're like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? And right. It's like, it's interesting. It's a good social experiment. Like if they just like tag you out instead of just like putting a bullet in your head, but it's Stephen King, so got it. Yeah. I also, speaking of contests, I also watched The Last Samurai Standing. I didn't finish it yet. Okay, I messaged you about this show on Netflix. Look, let me just say this to all potential new listeners. I don't mean to be offensive. I say this with all love. I do. This is some chop socky nonsense. Okay, like it is. Okay, this is nothing but a big ass video game or anime. The premise here, this is on Netflix. The premise here is there's like this samurai dude who is like a badass, and like this war happens, and he's like, oh, I gotta hang up the swords, right? Like I can never kill people again. Like, okay, I've seen, I don't know, 1 million fucking animes with this very beginning. And somehow he finds himself in this situation, this contest, right? And the contest is him and like 300 other martial arts like people, samurais and sort of other folks with weapons. are brought to this house, and they're like, "Look, everybody is poor as shit. If you want to join this contest, you can fucking leave if you want. But if you want to join this contest, they like break a jar and there's all these gold coins. Like if you want this much money and more, sign up for this contest, right? The idea of the contest, and they tell them what the idea of the contest is ahead of time, right? So they don't trick them, and they're like, look, you got to make it in 30 days. You got to make it from wherever you are in Japan all the way to Tokyo, wherever the fuck they start. But it's quite a while, right? It takes a month to get there. And there's like 5 gates, right, along this journey. And in order to pass through each gate, you got to have like the dog tags. You got to have like 5 dog tags, right? And everybody's wearing dog tags, so to speak, right? And so basically, you got to kill 5 people on this journey of these 300 to get through gate 1. Right. And then to get to gate 2, you got to have 10. So you got to have the 5 from the first one and then 5 more. Right. Or whatever amount it is. And you got to, in order to get all the way to the final gate in Tokyo, you got to have 30 or what have you. So the premise is interesting because there's not one winner. Right. There's enough that like 9 people could technically make it. Right. At a max. And here's where the chopsaki nonsense comes in. Is all of the characters are the most standard characters you've seen in any sort of like samurai shampoo type of fucking anime, right? There's like the big guy with the big spear, the little woman with the little dagger, the samurai guy who hangs up, he's hung up the swords, but like he's there reluctantly. And the like really noble samurai who has worked for like the nobility and he's like a badass and he doesn't say a lot, right? And then there's the guy with the bad teeth and he's like crazy. Like they're all fucking anime stereotypes. But the entire show is predicated on when the shit starts, when they have all 300 of these dudes and women in this area. They're like, the games begin, right? And then they're all like attacking each other and shit. And this woman is like being attacked by these dudes because they're like, I'm gonna kill this woman because she's smaller. Classic. And so the samurai who's like hanging up his sword is like, not on my watch. That's wrong. I'm the moral high character. And so he like saves her, but he only like uses the butt of his sword or the sheath to fight these guys off. He never kills anyone. And he saves her, right? And so he makes it out and he takes her with her and they make it out the first gate. Like, I think you don't need you just need to survive. You don't need to kill anybody, right? So they make it out of the first gate and they're off to their races, right? And so the idea is he's protecting her and getting out through this journey, but he also doesn't want to kill anybody, right? Because he's hung up the swords. That's in episode 1. Episode 2, he like forms an alliance with her and like one other guy that he meets, and he's like, look, I don't want to kill you, but like we can make it all together, right? Because he's like a famous guy. But again, the premise is he doesn't want to kill people. By episode 3 in the beginning, this nigga cuts a person's head clean off and they show it in slow motion. I was like, they gave up the premise already? They're like, we're done with that. And then he just proceeds to murder everyone. Like he's like, I forget his name, but because who cares? And it's like, he's like the most badass killer ever. And he's just killing everyone. And you're like, oh, so that premise is just fucking out the window. It's dumb, but the fight scenes are great. Right? Like the fight coordination is fucking fun. But story-wise, no.
How long are the episodes and how many of them are there?
I think there's 8 and I think they're like 45 minutes.
All right, that's doable.
Yeah, let me verify that.
But I need something to watch now that video games are kind of drying up. So I'm gonna need something to watch. And this sounds like mindless nonsense that's right up my alley.
I apologize. I'm halfway through the series. It's only 6 episodes.
Even better.
So, most of them are about like 50 minutes. The opening is an hour, and that's the longest one.
All right. So it balances out.
Yeah, it's dumb, but like the flight coordination, I was like, all right, it's like pretty good. Like they got an archer guy, and all. Like you're like, all right, that's cool. This is ridiculous. Like it's ridiculous, but fine.
Cool.
So next up, I watched Tron Ares. Yep. You're welcome, everyone. I'm doing this.
Why? Why? Like wasting time at this point.
I like some days I have bouts of depression. What the fuck can I tell you? Self-harm is real. You know what's really cool about Tron? The world outside of the video game. That's the super interesting part of that whole universe. This is an Assassin's Creed situation where you spend more time outside of the Animus than inside. That's bad. Okay, like I feel like every bad lesson they could have learned from Tron Legacy, they did, and they learned none of the good lessons. This one, like, what is his face that's in this?
Jared Leto.
I don't think it's fair, man. I don't think it's fair. He's not the main problem with this movie. He isn't. He sucks. Okay, I don't want people to think he doesn't suck. He sucks. But that's not the problem with the movie. The problem with the movie is putting the Tron shit in real life. Real life is boring. These niggas have superpowers in the video game, okay? Like, that's way more interesting.
So how do they get out of the program and into the real world?
The same as, like, it's the reverse premise of the original, right? Like, the laser shoots them and he's like, oh, I'm digitized, and he goes into the Tron. They just figure out a way. So, like, they just hit a Uno reverse, right?
All right, please feel free to spoil this movie, because there's no way that I'm watching it. There's no way that anybody listening to this is watching.
No, you shouldn't. You should not watch it. So here's the premise. Encom, which is the video game company that we all know and or love from the original Tron, right? They are now, they are like a big-ish corporation trying to make the next cool video game, right? And they're now run by two sisters, these two Asian women. And meanwhile, what's name has gone missing. Flynn has gone missing, right? He's in the video game. But he's gone missing. So the company is run by these other women. At the same time, there is a rival corporation that is like also interested in this, like the same sort of AI grid type of shit, right? And they're bad because in their world, in their part of the grid, it's all red. And in the good part of the grid, it's all blue. Yeah, it's that simple. Some would say red and blue is easy to understand which one is good and bad. That's, curious. But anyway, or one is like really, really bad and the other one is like fairly incompetent, but at least trying. And that's kind of how this movie is. And so they're both racing to find what's called like the permanence chip, right? The one sister dies of like cancer, right? But she was working on this thing called the permanence chip. And the idea is they both learn that they can build this like laser gun that can pull things, like basically pull things out of the grid and put it into the real world. Okay. And they do that because they're both trying, like Encom is like, well, if we could do that, we could just like make trees for like plants and like we could make the world a great place, right? You could just build food and all sorts of stuff and then bring it into the real world and then people eat it, right? It would be, it would be permanent. The other side is like, we could make military weapons. Wow, who wrote this? A 4-year-old? And so the problem is right now they both can do it, but the objects only last for 29 minutes. Again, like, how long it take to make a sandwich? Like, bro, just bring it in the world and I'll eat it. Like, does it disappear once it's in my stomach? I don't understand how that works, but they don't really go into that. Needless to say, things are not permanent after 29 minutes. Okay, and so the race is on to get this permanence chip. The bad guys make Ares and they make other soldiers and they bring them into the real world to try to get, like, to find the permanence chip that the other owner of Encom is hunting for. They're trying to hunt her down. Ares is a bad guy originally, but as he's brought into the real world, he's like taught like, hey, this is what reality is like or whatever. And he's like, okay, I want to be good now. And he starts to have he's learning and all this other stuff. Here's a problem with Jared Leto's performance, and this is not so much Leto as much as it's how he's written. He's a computer program. Why does he come out of the computer program and is talking like you and I talk? That doesn't make sense. He would talk like a computer program. Like, he sort of talks like a computer program, and then after like 3 minutes, they just kind of drop the premise of that, and he's like, yeah, I like the Depeche Mode. They're pretty cool. There's an 80s pop band. And you're like, what the fuck are we talking about right now? Like, it's very weird. It's very strange. And so then eventually, like, they bring out all these weapons to try to find this girl, and they're trying to get her and all sorts of stuff. And it's like beat the clock. And then there's like a couple moments inside the grid of like them hacking into the other grid, and that's like computer viruses. The movie is completely uninteresting. That's his biggest fault. It's completely uninteresting. It takes place way more outside of the game than inside. And then it ends with, spoiler alert, like they get the permanence chip, they give it to Ares. He does the fucking Tron thing, right? And he comes back into the real world, and now he's permanent. But of course he can die, right? But he fights off all the other people. The fighting is uninteresting because the fighting is taking place in the real world. The fighting in the grid is way cooler because like gravity doesn't really exist, and they can do cool shit, right? You remember Tron Legacy? It looked dope. There's the one thing about it that looked dope. So it all looks kind of cheap and bad. Like, oh, here's the tank and here's the recognizer and all this other stuff. But it all looks cheap because it's now in the real world, right? And it doesn't have the sheen of the, like, it just sucks. But then at the end, he leaves and he's like, I'm now a human or whatever. So he leaves, right? He goes off, right? They got the permanence chip, and he leaves. And he writes to her and he's like, oh, I'm exploring the world and I'm in India or whatever. And, he's riding a real motorcycle and he's just dressed like Jared Leto dresses, like a fucking hippie douchebag. And all of that. And he's like, I'm just trying to go out and like find things. And then they show the one woman from Tron Legacy, right? Who had come out of the grid at the end of that movie, right? And had gone off with Flynn's son. But she's from inside the grid. And he's like, I'm just like looking for her. How is she still alive if the permanence thing doesn't exist for her? She didn't have it. And I was like, I had totally forgotten that. And then they showed it. I was like, you just reminded everyone of the dumb fucking loophole of this entire movie. Like, you need the permanence chip if you're a robot and you come into the real world. Well, she fucking didn't. Unless she's already dead, then what the fuck are we talking about? That's the whole movie. It's dumb.
I cannot tell you how much I just do not give a damn about Tron as a
Nobody
franchise.
Does.
I don't know why they keep trying to make it work. I'm sure you can make it work, right? It's got all the like buzzwords, right? Video games and computers and
AI,
the grid, right? But like it feels like it wants to dip into like this cyberpunk territory, but like be highly sanitized. And that, all right, bro, all right, stop trying to make Tron happen.
Yeah, stop. Like, they're not making any more of these. Not for like 20 years, and then they'll like reboot it. But here's the thing. Here's how I would do Tron, just real quick. To your entire premise of like they're trying to make it kind of like a cyberpunk thing. Here's an idea. The outside world fucking sucks and it's uninteresting. The grid is way more fucking interesting. Why don't you just show all of like, we've seen the very clean part of the games and all that. Yeah, show us all of the other shit in the grid and make it like full cyberpunk. There's like weird shit and like programs that have been kind of trashed or half made and are fucked up. And do that and just show inside that world.
You know what you just described, though? You just described Ready Player One. And it amazes me that movie feels like it pulled off what Tron, I guess, is what Tron should be doing. All right, man. You need the thing with Tron. You can't just like
director and a real writer.
You need a visionary for Tron, right? You need somebody who can really see it. You need someone with a ton of imagination, and you need someone with an incredible like sense of style to pull Tron off, in my opinion, right? Because Tron ain't doing it, man. Like you mean to tell me that they did it in 1999. It was called The Matrix. Like you jump into a computer program and but everything was hyper stylized and everything was like it just rip off The Matrix, bro.
Right.
Just rip it off.
The fundamental problem is they've locked themselves into the design of Tron, which I think is a mistake. Like, just say that that's what the grid looks like the video game part. But beneath that, the Coruscant of Tron is just fucking dirty and weird. Look, like, go inside that recycle bin on your computer and tell me what's at the base of that shit, right? Stop giving me the clean sheen of the Mac OS. Give me the dirty shit, because that's what people want. That's the interesting stuff, right? You could, like, I know there was like that Tron Uprising or Tron Rising cartoon where they're like fighting against, there's like an uprising against like the overlords in the Tron world. Give me that shit. But it's not dirty enough. It's ultra clean. It's kind of boring. No, I think you got to give me a little bit more. This series has been squandered. It's a solid idea, but it's been squandered. It's largely just been squandered. And look, I know a lot of people are not going to appreciate this, but I'll say it. All of the Tron movies are bad. All of them are bad.
Yeah. They're not.
They're all bad.
I don't get it. I don't get
Tron. Yeah, Tron is a classic. It's a classic because it's a classic. It's not a very well made movie. Like it's not a very well written movie.
I wouldn't even call it. I would use a different term. I wouldn't call it a classic. I would call it a relic.
Well, you know what? That's fair. But its entire premise is like it looks cool, and it looks different for anything you've seen. But that doesn't make it actually a good movie. It's not. The original sucks. Tron Legacy sucked, and Tron Ares sucked. Sorry, they're all bad. It's a great premise, but it's a terrible execution every single time. The one thing I will say positively about this, I like the soundtrack. That's it. And that's the same thing I could say about Tron Legacy. That's it. This is just a darker version of the Tron Legacy one. The Tron Legacy one is a bit brighter and everything else. This one is very red. It's very Trent Reznor. Yeah, it works. I like it. I like the first song, Init, which is great. You know, that's, computer terms. So yeah, it was it's bad. So don't watch it. You're welcome. No. All right, you and I both watched The Beast in Me. Let's talk about that. What are your thoughts?
I really enjoyed that show. It is did we talk about it before? Did we talk about a little bit about it? So we already talked about the premise, right?
Yeah. This is on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. It's a very entertaining show. Shows like this, I'm usually worried how they end. Because it felt like this show wrote itself into a corner. And while it did give a very, very like Hail Mary style ending, right? It does work. And I am satisfied with it. What's the dude's name?
Matthew Rhys.
He's really good. Look, I don't really remember. I don't know much of his work. I remember last time you saying he's known for playing kind of nice guys. No, he does. This guy's a really good psycho. It's a really, really good. This guy's a really, really excellent depiction of a lunatic with too much money. I really dig it. Claire Danes is really, really good in this.
She's great.
Yeah, you sent me this this reel of people, this one commenter lamenting about the fact that people think Claire Danes' face is weird. Like, she's a woman. She's a grown woman, like that's what that was weird. It didn't even occur to me, right? But she is. I think it's because people are not used to seeing women like emote.
Well, and age.
Like,
yeah, I mean, her point was that
and age.
yeah, so many young women in Hollywood have so much Botox. You're not used to actually seeing a woman's face like fully express. It's like, yeah,
And she's killing it in this movie. In this series.
yeah.
I really like her character because her character is not like her character is fucked up. Her character is fucked up. Her character feels like a real person. And there is no at towards the end, we find out that like earlier in the series, we find out a tragedy happens, right? And then towards the end, it's like, oh, well, she was an unreliable narrator because this tragedy isn't what she is making it out to be, right? And I was like, oh shit, like this is a really good series, man. I really dig it. And good job, Netflix. Your 1 in 10,000 rule kicked in with this movie.
Yes, it's your once per quarter hit. That's how I look at it. Like, well, it's that time again for me to waste several months worth of subscriptions on Netflix, and you're like, oh, but they got one good one. Oh my god! Oh, it was all worth $20 a month. I think The Beast in Me is really, really good. Look, if you think Claire Danes is good and you haven't watched Homeland, do yourself a favor. She's fucking excellent in that. Look, if you don't like the woman from Pluribus, I don't think you would like Claire Danes because Claire Danes is a real ass person. Like she always portrays roles that are complex women that are not just like certainly not damsels in distress, certainly not total heroes, certainly not total villains. Like she lives on this margin with her characters, which I always think whenever she chooses a role, minus Terminator 3, I believe, she normally does a very good job in choosing them. And it's always these sort of cuspy kind of great characters, which good. I think that's great. But yeah, this was just a one and done, just 8 episodes. But if you have not watched The Beast in Me, you should do yourself a favor. It's very, very good. All right, let's jump right into topics this week.
All right. CCXP, which is Comic-Con experience in Brazil, is happening. And we during CCXP, we get the first poster for Spider-Noir, the Amazon Spider-Man show starring Nicolas Cage. And it's the first like poster, right? So that's part of the news. The other news is that that he's not portraying Peter Parker in the Spider-Man noir in the noir universe. He's portraying Ben Reilly, and I like that idea. I think we're
not pleased when this first dropped that he wasn't going to be playing Peter Parker.
Because it didn't even occur to me, right? That because I'm a fake fan, I guess. It didn't even occur to me that like there are so many different types of there are other people who have been Spider-Man. That it didn't even occur to me that Ben Reilly could be on the table. Yeah. And I like this idea now. I like it because I feel like you can really separate it and make it its own thing. I feel like you can help ease possible confusion. Mm-hmm. Like, was this supposed to be Tom Holland as an adult? Right? Like, yep. You won't get any of that. And yeah, of course, there have been multiple people who have donned the mantle of Spider-Man. So, yeah, I'm an idiot. I dig this being Ben Reilly. Yeah. They also say that it'll be released in 2026, both in black and white and in color. As long as the black and white is a bit more stylized, right? Like if it's like a cool black and white, like a black and white with some bluish undertones or some, low temperature color, like undertones, like low sepia colored undertones. I think I'd be cool with that. Just straight black and white. Nah, man, like you got the opportunity to be creative with the way that this is presented.
So you wouldn't want something like Werewolf by Night that was done in complete black and white. You'd want it more stylized.
Not necessarily, because it was I've seen it, right?
Right.
Look, I'm not going to complain, but like I've seen it. Here's your chance to be different. Here's your chance to be a little bit different. And what made Sin City great was, it was in black and white, but it was in a stylized, high contrast black and white with harsh colors, harsh black and white contrast with like splashes of color. And I feel like while I don't want this to be that, right? I don't want this to be a Sin City clone. I feel like if you want to do black and white, there are different shades, different color temperatures of black and white that you can use to kind of make this stand out a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at that. I think that would be fun. I like the idea of I like whatever you do, don't just do it in traditional color. Is just basically my attitude. I want to see you try something different. I agree. I like the costume though. I like that the eyes are this like really, I don't want to say day glow, but almost like neon headlight kind of design. I think that works really well, and I think that actually works better in a sort of black and white or some roughly around there kind of style, because I think it makes it pop that much more. In color, I feel like it wouldn't pop as much. I hope that the show is released in both styles, right? And that you get to choose, because if you get to choose, I think that would be kind of fun. Just for some people are like, I just prefer color because whatever, and people who want
it will be released in both black and white and in color.
Okay. So I think that's cool to like people who want to watch it in like the noir style, because that's the way I would want to watch it just because of the series. I think that's really fun. Okay. Yeah. I think it looks really good. As long as he keeps that same persona and everything else, which I can't imagine he doesn't, that he did in Spider-Verse, I think that would be really fun. Just talking that way and everything else. Like, I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah, I would like it to be a little more, Spider-Verse is a kid's movie, and as such, he spoke in a lighter tone, right? I would want it to be a little more harsh, not harsh, but like
adult,
a little more. If we're gonna parody the old, noir writing, that's great, but not. I don't know. I want it to be a little bit different. I don't know how to. I'm stupid. I don't know how to say it.
I agree. Like the same style, but just with a bit of an edge on it.
With a PG-13 edge to it.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Yeah. I don't want it to be sort of juvenile. I like the way he was, he was giving, like the way he was speaking, it was almost like he was reading the narration of the character and stuff like that. I think that's really fun. Just keep that sort of the old school noir style, and I'm fine with it. Like, give me some rain scenes and shit like that. Like, just have fun with it. Like, I need this to be less, hey, it needs to be like the comic books, and more of just them having fun with that premise, and you throw in a couple of elements there. I think that would just make it its own thing. I think it would be really quite a good time. So, yeah, looks good to me.
All right, next up, the God of War live action series enlists Shogun and The Boys director. Casting is now officially underway. Variety has shared some updates on Amazon and Sony's live action God of War series, which has enlisted Frederick E.O. Toye to helm the first of two episodes. Amazon also picked up 2 seasons of the show. The first has been confirmed to run up for 10 episodes. I guess that would make sense if you're doing the Norse mythology God of War setting. seeing as how that was a duology. Duology? Is that it?
Sure.
Not a trilogy, but 2 movies. Duology. I don't know.
It's not duology.
Literacy.
You don't know how to. You don't have to know how to read. Shut up.
Yeah, you don't have to know how to read. Just start a business. And okay, all right, good. Look, Ronald D. Moore is the showrunner. Several names have been rumored to be in line to play Kratos, including Henry Cavill. I don't see it.
No.
Jason Momoa. I don't see it. Dave Bautista, maybe. I could see it. I could see Dave Bautista.
He'd have to get big again. Do you still want to get big?
And I don't think he wants to get big again. An updated logline reads, quote, God of War follows father and son, Kratos and Atreus, as they embark on a journey to spread the ashes of their wife and mother, Faye. Through their adventures, Kratos tries to teach his son to be a better god, while Atreus tries to teach his father how to be a better human. You don't know anything about God of War, do you?
I know a decent amount about this series from what I've seen. So this is basically starting at the God of War 4, right?
Yeah. So the first 3 God of Wars were kind of like an angry man in his 20s, right? Like, he's full of nothing but testosterone, piss, vinegar, and somebody did him wrong, and he's gonna kill everybody. He is the first 3 God of Wars are toxic masculinity, right?
Right. Yeah.
And a guy in his 20s, and God of War 4 is a guy in his 40s, and he's kind of put that stuff behind him. He got married in his 30s or whatever, had a kid, wife died, he's in his 40s. He's trying to raise he's being a single father trying to raise this kid.
Right.
And he still has that old school, like, baby boomer mentality, right? Right. And his kid is like this Gen Z kid, right? So that's where they clash, right? And it's actually a really, really good, it's a good game. It's a decent story if you are a person of a certain age. I don't know how young people take to the later God of Wars, but I dig it as a man in his 40s who has to raise 2 young sons.
Right. And, and who wields an axe in his free time. Very strange.
Sword. I'm more of a sword guy, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
I feel like this series lives and dies on who the main actor is. And I feel like a lot of people are going to want to cast someone who is just big. And I think that is the wrong idea. Not that they can't, not that they won't be big. They will, right? Like, they just can't have like me as Kratos. Like, that's fucking stupid. Can you imagine? This is too heavy. I can't even pick it up. But you need somebody who's got the gravitas to run with that role. Like, because the fighting and all that's going to be cool. But this is a TV show. And there's a lot more talky parts. And you can't just have somebody who's like just grumbling the whole time. You need somebody.
Yeah, you can't cast Triple H, guys. I know he's bald and has a beard, right? But there's a little more to it than, having you need a little more than that.
Right. Like, I don't recall Kratos spitting water at his child. So, but maybe, I don't know. So I think you need to find an actor who can do kind of both of those things, like be the physical presence, but also be able to like really kind of be the guy as far as the dialogue. I got to tell you, it may, like, he's got the size. I think he could probably pull it off. Alan Richardson. I think he probably could.
Is he? I don't know if he's.
I don't know
if he can be somber, right?
Yeah,
he can do the rage part, but Kratos, this iteration of Kratos, has been trying to calm himself down because he knows that when he gets pissed, like, he can end the world. Right? He essentially, in those first 3 God of Wars, he is the reason why Greek mythology doesn't exist anymore. Right?
He kills him.
So he can destroy the world if he gets pissed. And like in the game, in the first one, like he hides the blades of chaos, right? Like his signature weapons, right? He hides them away from people because he's like, if I ever pick these things up again, like some shit has gone down, right? And it's a big deal when he goes back and picks up his weapons and is just like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm about to do this shit again, right? Like, it's a big deal. So I don't know if Alan Rich, and look, maybe he can. Yeah, maybe he can.
I mean, I think he's got a little bit more range than a lot of those actors named. I mean, I don't know. I think Batista could do it.
I think Batista would be pretty great at it.
Yeah, my question is, like, with Dave Bautista isn't like his ability to pull it off. It's, does he want to get big again? Like, because that dude took a lot of time to like come down in size. I don't know that he would want to get, because you can't like he's still big by like normal human comparison.
Yeah, he's got a big frame. Like he's just,
but like he was a big fucking dude at one point. So the question is, would he want to do that? Now, maybe they give him like a fucking, like a suit type of shit. I don't know. Technology is there. But I think he could pull it off. But like my sole consideration for him would be whether or not he wants to like be the big dude again. I mean, I've seen people say The Rock. I think you're out of your mind. Like, that just makes no sense to me.
No,
you're just saying that because he's big or was big. Yeah, I don't know. Like that's a balance. I think Amazon is a good spot to have this. I think it'll be fun to see what they do. But that show is going to solely live and die on who you pick for that role. Also, the kid, if you were not going to pick a like heavy hitter actor to do that, you're going to need to pick a heavy hitter kid that can carry it then. And that's a dicey thing to do as well, because sometimes people get annoyed at child actors and stuff like that. So, but you got to pick
Atreus is fucking annoying, like right. He is.
Right. So, I mean, look at The Last of Us, right? People had a huge issue with that. I thought it was largely unwarranted, but like that's just me. But so I do think you need to pick somebody who can really carry that series. But we'll see. We'll see what they do.
We'll see. I'm very curious. This article has a bunch of casting character breakdowns, and I'm very curious to see what this cast is going to look like. I'm actually excited about this show. I want to see what it does. Yeah. This is a dad show.
Oh yeah,
this is a perfect that's a perfect dad show.
I mean, Amazon is like, they lean heavy into the dad shows. So that's also a reason you wouldn't get Alan Richardson, because he's already headlining another Amazon show. So I doubt they would do that twice.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But directors and TV shows, they don't matter much as a showrunner does, right?
Yeah.
Like TV is a showrunner's medium and film is a director's medium, right? Like, yeah. So yeah, I get why they're touting like it enlists directors from Shogun and The Boys, right? 2 vastly different properties. Right. That doesn't tell me anything, right?
Yeah.
But
who's going to? Yeah,
we'll see.
Who's going to keep it?
Right. Who's going to keep it together? We'll see. I'm actually excited for this. Right. We'll see. Next up, Assassin's Creed. New details about Netflix's upcoming Assassin's Creed reboot have been revealed, including when and where it will be set. Earlier this week, the news broke that Euphoria star Toby Wallace has been tapped to play the series, one of the co-leads in Netflix's upcoming Assassin's Creed TV series. This marks the second attempt to bring the Ubisoft franchise to live action after the correctly poorly received movie starring Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, because you spent too much time out of the fucking Animus. Wasn't that movie like 97% in the real world and like 3% inside the Animus? It made no sense.
That's what I hear. I wouldn't know. I didn't see it.
No, I had zero desire. When they were like, oh, it's mostly outside of the Animus, I was like, fucking next. Who cares? Who gives a shit?
Details on the show have been few and far between, but somebody is reporting that it will explore ancient Rome. That's a time period that the games haven't touched on, but it's one that we've seen used in many hit series and movies, a la Spartacus and Gladiator, for example. The people reporting this add that Assassin's Creed will feature figures like Emperor Nero, Seneca the Younger, who served as Nero's tutor. This would potentially date the series being set somewhere between 54 and 68 AD if Nero is to be the emperor. Okay, look, man. Assassin's Creed is a I like the franchise. But it has become it showed so much premise, and it always has like it's a really juicy concept, and it's got a lot of premise, but throughout the years, it's been around for almost 20 years.
Jesus Christ.
And it just we're fucking old, bro. And it just Ubisoft has kind of beaten this thing into just a product for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. And I really would like Assassin's Creed to kind of be something more than just a yearly or a bi-yearly thing again. And this franchise is
how often do the games come out now?
They used to come out every year, which is ridiculous, right? And quality started to wane, right? Like, I will never for the life of me understand why this French ass company fucked up their history game, the game about the French Revolution. Like, really weird. It was one of the worst received Assassin's Creeds, right? Like, day one patch was like 7 gigs or some shit, right? Because they fucked it up, right? That should have been like, take some pride in yourself.
Yeah, flagship.
But the games have gotten better because they don't come out on a yearly basis anymore. They come out like when they're ready. And I'm very curious. I'm glad that they're doing something different, right? Of all the games, they haven't touched ancient Rome. They've been into the Renaissance, but they haven't touched ancient Rome. So I'm glad they're doing something different. I'm very curious to see what this is going to be. Nobody gives a fuck about the real world stuff. Nobody cares. And look, they even realized it in the games, right? Like, they even realize it in the games where they're to the point where there's not too much real world stuff anymore. I think Shadows, which takes place in ancient Japan, they don't even do any real world stuff in it. They don't. Like, it's like, focus on what people want, which is the idea of an ancient society of assassins that are secretly keeping the world safe from these Templars who have invaded all of politics, right? Like, they're not just the assassins aren't just a bunch of bloodthirsty killers. Like, they are killing strategic targets for the betterment of humanity.
Yeah, right? And look, I'm not mad at you for doing stuff outside of the Animus as far as like, hey, these are things that are going on. But that's got to be like 5% of that story at best. At best. Like, all right, you're doing this series. You give me like a good 10 minutes, like 5-10 minutes. By the way, not a continual 10 minutes. It doesn't even have to be. Give me a good like 5 minutes in the beginning, a little 5 minutes at the end of the first episode explaining like, this is what the Animus is. We're going to go inside. They go inside that shit. I don't want to, like, that's the whole world. All the characters you know, minus like one or two characters on the outside, that's all you know. Every like third or fourth episode, you pull out of the Animus for like 2-3 minutes and be like, "Hey, remember, this is a fucking video game. It's not fucking real or whatever." And there's like slightly some like real world connections. Then back in the Animus, we'll see you in 4 episodes. Like, it does not need to be. It needs to be the thinnest of threads to hold the series together, but the vast majority of it, 99% of that show should be inside the Animus. There should never be long blocks of time, 30 minutes of an episode that's all out of, fuck that. No, absolutely not.
I would take it a different way. I don't think I better not hear the word Animus. Okay? I better not hear it. The whole point of the Animus is to go back into your ancestral DNA and recreate events that actually happened, right?
Right.
Just show us just the show should just be the events that actually happened, right? I don't need because you lose the plot when it comes. The whole point of the Animus is that they were in the Animus to relive things that happened in history, to try and give them clues about what's going to happen in the real world. I don't need none of that. I don't need none of it. Just focus on the interesting stuff that quote unquote actually happened, and then keep it moving. Because I think when you introduce the Animus and when you introduce this like high concept like virtual reality shit, right? You're starting to turn into Tron. You don't want to go full Tron, okay? So yeah, I better not see the word Animus. I don't want to hear it. I think they should just focus on the actual time periods, the actual assassins versus the Templars. If you want to get all crazy, how about we put one foot in front of the other before we start running?
Yeah, no, like that actually would be kind of fun. Is that the entire first season? You spend all your time inside this world, and they never mention that the Animus is a thing until the very end, like,
and then you pull out. Yeah.
And then you pull out, and it's like, we finished running that program, and you killed the Sultan of Brunei or whatever, whoever the fuck, and I think that guy was like a bad dude, and then it pulls out, and it's like, and this is the world, you've been hired to do this, blah blah blah, and you're like, oh shit, see you next season, and then that's it, like a little tail, and then like, boom, that's enough to like get your fucking mind running about like what's the conspiracy and all this other shit. And then season 2, you're fucking back in it, right? And they give you just a little bit. I think that's fine. I think it actually would be fun for people who don't know anything about the series, just watching, and you're like, oh, this like dope assassin, running around show, and then in the very end you get this, you're like, oh shit, that's kind of cool, and then and then it's like, all right, we'll see you in season 2, see you in 2028 or whatever. So yeah, minimal involvement of anything outside of the Animus, and like that's enough. All right, next up, more video game adaptations.
Look, video games are the new comic books, buddy. I don't know what to tell you. Justin Lin to direct a Helldivers video game movie. Look, I don't know much about the Helldivers video game. People who have played the sequel absolutely love it. It's basically Starship Troopers with more overt. Starship Troopers is subtle in what it's trying to do, whereas in its fascism, where Helldivers is not. Like, you play a bunch of fascistic soldiers going out and killing bugs or enemies or whatever, just because, like, manifest destiny or some shit. I don't know. But people seem to love it, and Justin Lin is going to direct the movie. Justin Lin is the guy that revitalized the Fast and Furious franchise. Mm-hmm. He directed Fast 4, 5, 6, 9, and produced 10. He was going to direct 10, but I think think somebody got a little too big for their britches.
Yeah, a little sword fighting there.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel had some ideas, and Justin Lin was just like, "How about I just produce it?"
Yeah. How about I just get the fuck out of here before you?
Yeah, how about I pull an ejectocito, cuz, and just shoot out this franchise?
Right. Okay. I know about as much about Helldivers as you've just described it. That's long when I've heard about it. Cool.
Right. Also, he directed Better Luck Tomorrow. Sorry, Justin Lin. That's probably what you should watch of his.
Better Luck Tomorrow? I don't.
Better Luck Tomorrow is a crime drama.
Oh yeah,
you've never seen it because you're not a weeb.
This is Asian as fuck.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Asian American people who get into crime stuff.
All right, hell into crime. Is Better Luck Tomorrow part of the Fast and Furious franchise? No, what?
because the dude that plays Han is in Sung Kang, I believe, is in Better Luck Tomorrow. So, much like how all black people in Star Wars are related.
Yeah, obviously.
All Asian people in Asian films are related, apparently.
Is Better Luck Tomorrow canon or not? Although not officially part of the Fast and Furious franchise, as repeatedly confirmed by director Justin Lin and actor Sung Kang, integral to part of the story. Yeah, no, it's not. Not all Asian people are the same, you fucking assholes. Shut up. All right, next up in topics, it's super weird. Zootopia 2 is doing crazy numbers, dude. Like, I have not had a chance to see this. I'm excited to see
it. My wife and son saw it, and they enjoyed it. And my son came back, and he said, "Where's Zebros?" I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it involved a couple of zebras. Right. So he seemed to really enjoy it.
It's already made $616 million worldwide. Jesus Christ. That's insane. Yeah, look, good for them. Again, proving that Disney is not bad at this. I don't know why people keep saying that. I don't get it. Yeah, all right. So Zootopia looking like it's going to join the billionaires club here pretty soon. Just quickly, HBO Max's big plan is now to, quote, be HBO again. Good. How many consultants were brought in for this one, guys? Casey Blouse is embracing the brand position for TV's crown jewel of complement, not replacement, for Netflix. Kind of like how it was back in the premium cable add-on days. So apparently they've decided, it would probably be a really good idea to just let HBO be HBO and go back to making really amazing shit on that channel, as it always has. And that'll be a really good idea because it's HBO, and this is a thing we've been saying for, I don't know, since forever. I can't believe they took all this time to figure out, why don't you just let the people who make really good TV continue to make really good TV?
It's home box office, guys. It's like having the box office at home.
Like, what are you guys, idiots? Like, yeah, duh. Like, what the fuck? All right.
I mean, look, everybody has to kind of justify their jobs by trying to reinvent the wheel or fixing something that isn't broken.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. HBO pretty much puts out, no matter what HBO puts out, like 99.99% of content that comes out of HBO is great. The 0.001% that's not is real time. But everything else is pretty phenomenal. And just let them do what they do, man. What all the Emmys weren't clues that
right.
that you should just let them do what they do?
Like, the dumbest thing was being like, we're gonna rein in their budgets and like we'll see what they can. Why?
Right. The fact that a fantasy series was the biggest thing in television history in Game of Thrones wasn't enough of you to be like, yeah, we should just let them do whatever they want. They made dragons cool, guys. They made dragons cool with people who hate dragons.
Exactly. And not only did they do that, everyone almost universally hated the end of that series. And they were like, you know what? We get it. We're going to bring out a prequel series. And people were like, I ain't going to watch it. And they were like, okay, fuck that show. I ain't going to watch it. They're like, yeah, no worries. It's going to be on Sunday night. Fuck that show. I ain't going to watch it. All right, I'm going to watch it and see how bad it is. Yo, this show's really good. That's how good HBO is, okay?
Right.
That's how good they are, is that everybody complained about how much they were done with Game of Thrones, and you guys went right back to watching House of the Dragon. And they're making another spinoff. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to watch that shit too.
And complaining that House of Dragon Season 2 isn't out yet. Well, the next season of House of Dragon isn't out yet.
Hurry up. We hated Game of Thrones. Hurry up with Season 3. Hurry up, guys. Why do we have to wait so long? Knock it off. Knock it off. Look. I've been telling you for a long time, watch Industry. The season 4 trailer just came out a couple days ago. Yeah, that show's excellent. That's probably the most slept on HBO show, right? Like that's a Sunday night show. It's a super slept on show. It's excellent. It's really, really fucking good. They don't really miss. They really don't. They don't. And if they fuck up in one season, like they're like, all right, we got it. And then they'll make a fucking correction. Like they're really good at this shit. So yeah, turns out the best plan for HBO was to just keep doing what it's always been doing. Okay. Good job, everyone. Good job, David Zaslav, you fucking douchebag. Next up, this is kind of great. The Batman Part 2 cast Scarlett Johasson, who is eyeing a role opposite Robert Pattinson in the sequel. There was a report that came out officially that Catwoman is not going to be in the second movie. So Zoe Kravitz is taking a seat for this one. Doesn't mean she won't be back for a third one, by the way. But she just won't be in this one. And so everyone's like, oh, Scarlett Johansson, that's kind of interesting. Who could she be playing? And I saw one suggestion, and I got to tell you, it's a pretty good one, which is someone said, I think it was long said that the villain in the Batman 2 is a character we've never seen in live action before, right? I think Reeves has said that, right? Which people are like, oh, who could it be? Who could it be? Right? Because we've never seen Hush done, which is why everyone assumes it would be Hush. And then someone was like, she could be Phantasm. And I was like, I kind of love that. Like, that would be fun because you've not seen a live action of that. And that could be really fucking cool. But I like it. That would be dope. And also that story ends with the Joker being involved, which would tee up a third one with the Joker as the conclusion of that trilogy, which I think would be a smart money. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. It never occurred to me to have Phantasm in the movie. I hadn't thought of that. I think that's actually pretty great. I think that's actually pretty brilliant. I don't know who she could be, man. I don't know if this world. I don't know if this particular world would need a Pamela Isley. Because she can kind of get far out there with plant telepathy and shit.
Yeah, it feels
stuff like that. Like
feels a little wacky for this world. Yeah,
I don't know how you ground that character, in this particular world, but I don't get paid the big bucks to figure that out.
Correct.
Who could she be? Who could she be?
I mean, you could go with lesser characters, right? Like a Vicky Vale. You could go with which I think is a super waste. Like Scarlett Johansson is the biggest actress in the world, right? Like she's the top paid actress in the world. You don't put her in no fucking I'm a reporter. Get the fuck out of here. No, she's fighting dinosaurs in the other movie. And she seems to want to do physical roles, which is why Phantasm makes sense to me. she could be. I guess she could be Poison Ivy. I guess she could be.
Would you want her to be like a Talia al Ghul or?
I guess that could work. But we haven't done the whole Ra's al Ghul thing, so like that kind of feels weird. That's like a cart before horse type of thing.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily put a. You could put Talia in. Talia is more important, not because she's Ra's al Ghul's daughter, but because she is Damien's mother. And
yeah, but remember, this isn't. They're not doing Damien this. Remember, this isn't the DCU. Technically, this is Matt Reeves' whole thing. Side, the sort of side question.
Hey, well, yeah, all right. Well, then I have no idea, man. As much as I like Batman, I'm not like you're the Batman guy.
I mean, I like Batman a lot. I mean, he's my favorite character. It's mostly just because he's a revenge-laden sociopath, psychopath, really.
Yeah, he's a rich businessman who's a psychopath. Which,
yeah, I mean, if anything, I should hate Batman. Like, I should actually hate Batman, but you love what you're against, right? That's how porn works. So, yeah, I mean, to me, once I heard Phantasm, I was like, why are we even having a conversation about anything else? Like, it's to me,
that's what I kind of want now.
Yeah, like, who the fuck cares about these other characters? Tell Matt Reeves if he was like, I was going to pick her for Vicky Vale. That feels like a mistake, right? So I just feel like she's a good physical actress. Like, she's been doing a lot of physical shit. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And the suggestion was like you kind of mix the Phantasm story with the Hush story a little bit, right? So you kind of, and you could do that, whatever. I don't care. This is an Elseworld story. So kind of mix that and make her a little bit somewhere in between those two to kind of keep her identity hidden. I think that's great. I think you do the whole voice changing thing so it sounds like a man, right? Like you don't take her voice and digitize it because everyone's like, well, that's fucking obviously Scarlett Johasson. She has a very recognizable voice. She played a voice in a movie, by the way, right? Like just a computer program. But like a straight up dude's voice. Like, dudes bring in a voice actor that's that sounds really intimidating, and that's just who does the voice. And then when she fucking reveals at the end, you're like, oh shit, like. That would be kind of dope. Like someone who can go toe to toe. Because Batman didn't have in the last one. This makes sense, right? Because Batman, it was a detective story. The first one was a detective story. Now you need somebody who can put in the sort of physicality against Batman. And that to me feels correct. Someone else has suggested she could be head of the Court of Owls, which could also be kind of interesting. But I always feel like the Court of Owls story works better with a long established Batman, not a young Batman. Because the whole point is like he thought he knew everything about Gotham. And this underground conspiracy kind of is just a rehash of what we saw in the first movie. Like to me, that doesn't really make sense. So
yeah,
I like Phantasm. I think it's a really, really good choice. I think it's excellent.
Yeah, it Phantasm's a vigilante that it would fit in this very grounded world, according to Wikipedia. So grain of salt. Part 2 follows the Batman investigating another case that further explores the corruption and division within Gotham City, following its flooding in the Batman and its aftermath in the Penguin.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all gangster shit.
Yeah, that's all gangster stuff. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I like this. Look, man, fantastical Batman is cool. But I like this. I like this grounded gangster Batman. This investigative,
Nerd.
gritty Batman that we have in the Matt Reeves series.
Yeah.
My only thing was just like him taking bullets, bro. Like that really bothered me, man.
Yeah,
that really bothered me.
Yeah, that's a lot of machine gun fire. It's too much. One or two, okay, not just straight up.
Yeah, but like
close range.
Right, like you're doing that was a Michael Bay moment where you are abandoning logic for the sake of a cool shot. It was a cool shot, man. It really was. But you abandoned all logic for it.
Yeah,
And,
no, I agree.
That really bothered me.
Look, to paraphrase Michael Bay, I'm not changing. Only pussies change. Or no, I'm not changing. Only pussies do that. It's a quote from him, which is amazing. Jesus Christ, what a guy. All right. You know what? Let's hold off on What the Fuck, brought to you by JTD at the Edit That Out podcast. We're going to hold it this week because we're running a little long. Let's jump into trailers real fast here. Trailer, the first one up is How to Make a Killing. This is what everybody's favorite new guy, Glenn Powell, where ironically, like, both of these trailers are very similar to me. The premise of the movies.
Yeah, there's a bunch of killing, but like lighthearted killing.
Yeah, but like familial killing, right? Like, this is just murder families. So in this one, in order to get a massive
look, politics is playing a role in art, right? Like,
yeah,
you want to murder your family nowadays.
Yeah. Like, and very rich people, very specifically, by the way. Right. And so in this one, Glenn Powell is like, kind of like, he's a part of this rich family, but he's just like a regular dude. Like, he don't have all the money. And in order to get this massive inheritance, he's got to sort of like kill his way up the ladder of richer and richer family members so that he can get all this money. Yeah, this looks fun. This looks like a good time, and I'm here for it. Glenn Powell is really making himself out to be a comedy action star, and I think it's working really, really well for him. So I'm here for it.
Do you think he is running the risk of being overexposed?
100%. 100%.
I do also.
Not just overexposed though, but typecast. I think may actually be more of a detriment to his career than anything else. So
like this guy is he's got a look about him, like he seems like a really cool guy, right? Mm-hmm. Seems like a really nice guy to like hang out with, but he seems like he's not overly handsome, right? Like, but he's not ugly. He fits an everyman very well. But but I kind of want him to be. I kind of need him to try something a little different, man. Because like I'm looking at his recent filmography.
It's all the same.
Top Gun Maverick and Devotion, which he plays another pilot, and Hitman, which was fun, but like kind of silly. But Glenn Powell being kind of silly and killing people, right? Yeah. And he did this movie with Sydney Sweeney, which was, my wife liked it. And then The Blue Angels, where he plays another pilot. Like, that's 3 pilot movies in 2 years, bro.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's super weird.
And then Twisters and The Running Man, like, everyman, right? And one of them is him killing people, and now this movie. So yeah, I think him being typecast is going to be a bit of an issue, but yeah, look, I like the guy. I want him to branch out a bit, but at the same time, this movie does look fun.
Yeah. Like sometimes you get typecast because you're really good at something. Like,
yeah,
Michelle Rodriguez, for instance. Oh, we need a tough, no nonsense Latina.
What happened to her? What the hell happened to her? Oh, okay.
little drinky drink there got her ass fired on Lost. I don't think that's kind of stopped. I hope it did. Maybe she.
I hope it did.
Maybe she lost her penis in that botched surgery. No, that's a real movie. That's a real movie. Now, I did not watch the trailer for Ready or Not 2. Here I Come. The reason why I haven't is because I've never seen the first one. And when we get off of this episode, I found it's on Disney Plus. I'm going to watch it because everyone says,
do yourself a favor, watch that movie. It's great. It's a great movie. I won't talk too much about
everyone
this.
Yeah.
But that movie is super fun, and I don't know if you know the premise, but okay, yeah, the premise of the original is a woman marries into a very wealthy family. The family has a tradition that they do where they all get together and they play a game, right? And eventually murder happens. So you'll have to figure out what that is. But look, I didn't need a sequel, right? But if these people who made the original can bring the same amount of gore and humor and slight commentary into this, yeah, I'm fine with it, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
There you go.
Also, the cast is pretty decent in the sequel. Look, just to show you about the gore. David Cronenberg is an actor in the sequel.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So some solid body horrors happening. That's good. Love it. Was that David Cronenberg movie? Or no, his son did that movie where they shoved a like a fireplace poker through Sean Bean's mouth and he lived. It's like, what is going on in that whole family? Like, that Sunday dinner looks crazy. Dad, I had an idea. I'm eating. Please, for the love of God, stop talking. All right, yeah. I'm gonna watch that literally right after we get done recording because it's been on my weirdly on my list, but it just hadn't been available for me to easily watch, and now it's on Disney Plus. So I'm like, all right, cool, bet.
Yeah.
And it's an hour and a half. Easy.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great tight little. It's fun, man.
All right, so I'll check that out. All right, that is it for us this week. We're happy to be back, and we will see you guys next time.
See ya.